Peace, peace. What's happening? Go back with another episode. Man, let's get straight into it, man. Let's get straight into it. Listen, man, I just grabbed me a little caffeine for the day. And I pulled up to this place. Hey, and do you know how these places be when you go into like a Dutch Bro, Seven Brew, Starbucks, or any of them local coffee places that you go to? A lot of these places, right? They be hyper, energetic, all this energy. Now, it's probably because they just took a shot of caffeine and whatever they, drink of choice. Because you got tea, you got those different hot energy drinks, cold energy drinks, ice drinks, frozen drinks, all these different drinks. And one day I remember I was going and I just wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood at all, man. I just was like, and I'm not like the talkative type person for the buck. Like I'm not really that talkative, man. That's why doing things like podcasting and talking and stuff like that, like is very challenging, helpful, whatever. But uh, I'm more laid back, conservative, introverted, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm around a circle, I like to be around people I'm around, and then I talk. You know what I'm saying? I be noticing that, like, oh, okay, I just be, off to myself or whatever. So I'm just trying to grab me some coffee. And at these particular places, man, they getting in your business. They be like, so what you up to, man? What you got going on for the weekend? Like, bruh, sis, chill. Where's my coffee? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to small talk with you. I'm not really into the small talk thing. And that low key, that can deter me from going to these places to get my drinks. And outside of like saving money and making my own coffee at the house, because they be upping their prices, man. I'm not really a big Starbucks guy, Dr. Bros type dude, but today I said, you know what? I'm gonna give me a little iced coffee real brief, and I'm gonna do a little different. I'm gonna do a little different today 'cause I ain't been there in a cool little minute. You know what I mean? And so I remember the last time I went, I was talking to this one dude who had all this energy, man. I was just like, I'm good. Yeah, okay, man. What you got up for the weekend? Nothing. Man, you got nothing going on? No, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just so rude. You know what I'm saying? I felt like an asshole. And I just felt bad because he was just like a young cat. He was just like it looked like he was trying to do the right thing, but it looked like he didn't even really feel like doing that. But that was in his job description, and to the best of his ability, he was trying to follow his job description. I'm still waking up. I'm just trying to get my day started. I was hoping this time around that I seen him, and I could have been like, "Hey, bro, my bad the other day, man. Our last time, whenever, I was just going through it. You know what I'm saying? I was just getting my day started. I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about or discuss. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to, be rude, but you just kept asking questions when it was obvious that I'm giving you these one word answers and I don't feel like talking. But you have been very persistent. I think that's just in a job titles, or he just couldn't really read the room, read his customer. You know what I'm saying? And, that happens sometime too, Mind you, he was not there. It was somebody else. And I was explaining to them the situation. And I'm like, oh, okay, this person's built for that job. And hopefully the young bro is off doing something a lot better, with his life. You know what I'm saying? He's upgraded and leveled up his job and stuff like that. And I tell that story because it's just like, you can't allow, if you're in the service industry, especially, don't allow a customer, client, or whoever bad attitude or negative energy affect your entire day or your week. Don't allow that to happen, especially when you're in certain like hospitality, service industries and things where you have to deal with, customers often. You can allow that to disturb you, knock you off. Your pivot. I'm one of them rude customers. You know what I mean? At some point in some time, I'm gonna be rude. And it's not on purpose. Is probably because I'm literally here for what I'm here for, and that's it. I'm not necessarily trying to be rude, but I'm also not trying to hold a conversation. And there's a lot of people that's talkative. They enjoy talking. They're happy that you're talking to them. They got somebody to talk to. That gives them energy and get them going for the day. My energy don't come from that. My energy comes from me being able to sit dolo majority of the time, recharge, be with my thoughts, peace and quiet, maybe some music with no words attached to it, like instrumentals, melodies, soundscape, jazz type situations. And then that's when my recharge comes in. You know what I mean? You gotta figure out How do you recharge? How do you keep your energy up? How do you keep your balance, in life? What is it that fills you up? What is your fuel? Another thing I wanted to bring up was I was talking to my therapist earlier, my routine monthly maintenance. You know, I'm a therapy advocate, mental health advocate. And I suggest if you feel like you're going through something, try to seek a therapist. Don't just try to seek one therapist and then I ain't work, take your time because it's a process. I've been through several therapists, you know what I mean, in order to get it right. And sometimes, you graduate from a therapist, you might need another therapist. You don't really graduate from therapy because mental health is kind of like physical health. Like you don't ever graduate from the gym. If you go to the gym and you're going to go work out, okay, you may have achieved a goal, but there's always more than one goal. I was just talking to some of the homies the other day. We was talking about a topic came up when we was talking about just different like machines in the gym, and I be dealing with certain little elements and stuff. And so I brought up the therapeutic part of certain equipment in the gym. Well, none of us really knew the names of the equipment, but we was just talking about like one of the machines that you strap around your ankle and then you kick out this and that or you sit down and it's for your inner thigh, outer thigh, and all these different machines and stuff like that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's therapeutic. Like it helps, people who may have certain different disabilities or they're trying to like concentrate, isolate, and lock in on particular muscles. Because like if you look at certain bodybuilders, if you follow any of the Ronnie Colemans of the world or any one of your favorites, like I ended up locking in on Ronnie Coleman, man, and was just watching some of the stuff that he was doing. I was like, God damn, man. Like, he was a beast. If y'all ever get a chance to just watch some of that old footage of Ronnie Coleman and the way in which he trained to be like an 8-time Olympian, man, you'd be like, man, that's crazy. Like from his meal prep, what he ate, how he had a 9 to 5 and still was training, the type of training he was doing, it was kind of like robotic. You know what I mean? That's next level discipline. And I remember watching I was going down the rabbit hole like we all do on social media. And as soon as you follow or like one page, similar pages is gonna come up. So I started seeing all these different you know, fitness pages come up, stuff like that. And I was looking at these different, I'm like, oh, that's why they use that machine. Then I started getting a better understanding on why certain machines are used and for what reason and stuff like that. Somebody made a joke like, man, I kind of forgot the joke, but it was like, they was kind of like shitting on a particular machine. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like if you knew better, you'd do better because it don't matter what muscle you trying to work, it's your muscle. You can't look bad for strengthening up your muscles. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that, like at all. That was just like the overall gist of what I was getting at. They was probably just clowning or whatever. But my point was with the mental health maintenance and all these different things. Just to get back to it, is that, man, I am starting to settle in and be more comfortable with being in my 40s, whether I look like it or not. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting extremely comfortable with just understanding where I'm at because sometimes we'll be out here thinking like I'll be having those 20-year-old thoughts, like then I'll be getting out there like I don't be having them 20-year-old steps though. You dig what I'm saying? Like my steps are not in the 20s no more. My steps are in the 40s. I have to think, you know what I'm saying, carefully before I make my next move. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to settle in with that reality a little bit more. It's starting to be very comfortable. It's kind of like when you look at it, and I brought up too, like LeBron, because he's like 41. I think he'll probably be like 42 this year. He's an 80s baby. So when you see people north of 38 still like competing at a high level or just still staying active and staying out there, I got a couple of people my age still hooping. Dig what I'm saying? And I'll troll them because that's just what we do for fun. But it's really like, damn, man, this dude really out there still hooping. You know what I'm saying? Even if they just pulling up, they just doing that little quick little jog and then that quick little pull up. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all right. Because the more you're able to exercise your mind, the more you're able to exercise your physical, the better you continue to think sharp, think clear. I can't say longevity because my great grandma, I had the opportunity to walk her up the stairs. I think that was like oh something, oh nine, oh eight, oh seven. 05? I don't remember. But the point is that she lived to be like 104. She ain't wasn't on no vegan diet or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? She was out there eating whatever she ate. She was working in her garden up until like, her late 90s, until she just couldn't work up in her garden no more. But she was over there eating her bacon, her pork chops, her ribs, whatever. She eating whatever. And she lived to be 104. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you know, I'm not trying to sell y'all nothing. So I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like you ain't gotta be no vegan. You ain't gotta like not eat shellfish, not eat pork, not eat this, not eat that, you know, unless it's something that just mess with you specifically. Like I'll be paying attention to like how much sugar intake I put in my body these days. I don't try to just eat a whole bunch of sugar. That's just for me personally. I try to watch how much, gluten, how much bread I eat, because I know what it does to my body. So, being mindful of what things can do to your particular body is important. But can't just be like, oh, because you're vegan, you're gonna live to be 100 and something. No, man, these people, man, out here eating whatever they want to eat. God go let you live however long you supposed to live. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I think wasn't Steve Jobs like a vegan or like some kind of like health conscious, whatever, and he died really like, so just be happy, be blessed. But what I'm saying is exercising your mind, mental health therapy, physical health therapy, you know what I'm saying? Or mental health maintenance is what I like to call it, you know what I'm saying? And physical health maintenance, you know what I'm saying? You got what they call that weight training. You did what I mean? Go hit some weights, go get some cardio in. You feel me? If you feel like you got a whole bunch of stuff going on in here, man, go seek a professional help, and yeah, see how that works for you. So yeah, I think that with me getting more comfortable to where I'm at and settling in with my age, I'm not looking at it as giving up. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it can feel that way, but it feels more like settling. Like, okay, this is where I'm at. So this is 40 something. Okay, bet, bet. Yeah, it don't feel bad at all because the game actually does start to slow down. And what I mean by this is like I remember watching an episode of one of LeBron's podcasts, and he talks about how the game slows down to him, or anybody that plays sports. As you get older, become more of a veteran, things just start to slow down for you where you're able to read everything out. So at this age, the blessing is there's so much I can read because there's so much that I done already did or been through that now I'm able to just read things. So my steps are very calculated on what direction I'm gonna go in and why and for what reason. You know what I mean? Because the younger you are, let's say you in your 20s, man, you still may have a whole bunch of more stuff to try. But what I would suggest is definitely tap in to some of them. Listen to wisdom, wise ones, your elders. Respect your elders always, and listen to your elders. What I mean by listen to your elders, man, pay attention to some of the stuff they say. And if they say this is this is that, and you try it, it works. You might want to keep listening to them. If somebody say something and you try it and it don't work, you want to keep an eye on them. They may not be giving you the right type of guidance. So at the end of the day, you got more time, you know what I'm saying, in your 20s. You want to make sure you get stuff right before you hit 30 to the best you can. I remember we was talking about something on I was talking with the homies on the live stream, and we was talking about it was a topic that came up, and it was about how Americans versus like people who are non-American, whether you're Asian, from a part of Asia, from a part of Africa, or the Caribbean. How they come over here, you know what I'm saying, to the United States with a game plan. They be coming over here like you're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, nurse. Like focus. You go in, you go to school, 22 bachelors, 26 AD, you're a lawyer or you got a master's. Then you go back and you go get this, you go get that. Then you in your field for about 5 years, you about 31, 32, 33. At that age, you could be like, man, I don't want to do none of this no more. You know what I mean? Well, check it out. You don't have to, but they guided you all the way through to do X, Y, and Z. So now you have the money, you have the trade, the experience, the knowledge to go try something else out. You have a little bit of capital, some credit. You got all these different things as opposed to where The American way is be what you want to be, do what you want to do. Now, it ain't no wrong way because a lot of us, it takes us, some of us, time to find our way. But what happens is that we may not have the proper guidance, so we figure it out a little bit later on in life. We don't figure it out right away. So sometimes having a dedicated route is better than just, being able to just go where you want. Having a dedicated route early can be better than being able to go wherever you want because you have a game plan, But then some people, they find their way early, some people don't. So it don't matter. What I want to say too is this, man. Because I feel like I'm getting sidetracked. Let's see. So what I want to say too is this, man. Each one teach one out here, Challenge yourself always, Always challenge yourself, find new ways to stay relevant, reinvent yourself, you know what I mean? And you know, stay in it. You dig? That's one of the elements of life that is very important. Don't never let nobody trick you out your position. Don't never let nobody trick you out your spot. Stay sharp. Stay focused. Stay diligent. Always know, like my grandpa told me. You know what I'm saying? I remember we was outside one time, and we was right next to his pickup truck. I just remember it because it was a newer pickup truck. Because he used to have this old pickup truck, look like it was like a '79 GMC or whatever. We used to always ride on the back of the pickup truck coming up, which was actually fun. So wherever we was going, you know what I mean? Like whoever's riding in the front seat is in the front seat. And all the kids had to get in the back. So we always were just sitting in the back, just ride. And I remember he finally upgraded his pickup truck. And this was like, in the 2000s or whatever. Uh, and I remember we was outside. He was like, just know there's always somebody watching. Listen. And I said, all right, you know what I mean? But it was at that moment I took that in like, okay, so no matter what you do, especially these days, you know what I'm saying? Somebody probably gonna be recording you with their little meta glasses or whatever they smart glasses or they smart watch or they smart this or smart that, and somebody's always watching. Somebody's always listening. So whatever you do, make sure that you are comfortable with what you are presenting to the world. Be mindful at all times, man, and know that getting older is a blessing. Being young is a blessing. If I would have known that you're gonna be grown longer than you a kid, I probably would have enjoyed childhood a whole lot longer. Cause you already understand that you be so ready to become an adult, not knowing that you finna be adult for a long ass time. You know what I'm saying? You finna be paying bills. You finna be out here adulting. You know what I'm saying? Adulting has a lot of fun if you got your ish in order. So how do you get your ish in order? You listen to the right people. You don't be so much of a consumer. You be more of a conserver. You invest and don't be worried about effing up. Everybody gonna F up here and there. So that's how that works, man. Anyway, this is another episode, man. And man, shout out to y'all for tapping in to the Out the Way podcast, man. As always, man, stay solid with your solids. Be good at it. Hustle with patience, master your pace, stay in and out the way. Real brief though.